focus and attention inward and upward. Listen to these words from Swami Kriyananda on our affirmation for this week, willingness. Willingness must be cultivated deliberately. It is not an attitude of mind and depends not on outward conditions. Most people are willing or unwilling depending on their likes and dislikes. This habit tends to develop a bias toward unwillingness, which gradually becomes chronic and attracts to itself chronic failure. Don't wait for favorable circumstances to awaken willingness in you. Train yourself in the attitude of saying yes to life. Often by this simple attitude, you will find success arriving unexpected at your door. And let's affirm together, first out loud, grabbing the attention of the conscious mind. I welcome everything that comes to me.
I welcome everything that comes to me
as an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
I welcome everything that comes to me
I welcome everything that comes to me
as an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
And a little softer, taking it deeper inside. I welcome everything that comes to me
I welcome everything that comes to me
as an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
I welcome everything that comes to me
I welcome everything that comes to me
as an opportunity for further growth.
as an opportunity for further growth.
And now in a whisper, bringing it into the subconscious mind, I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. And now silently broadcasting it with the deepest focus at the point between the eyebrows. I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. And please pray silently with me. Lord, help me to overcome the satanic pull of unwillingness. The more I embrace life in your name, the more I feel your joy. Om. Peace. Amen. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to everyone visiting. Would you like to find my seats? Welcome to everyone online. My name is Dharma Devi. This is my husband Narayan, and we're grateful to be sharing Sunday service with you. And I believe Keisha is going to share Sunday service with us. Okay. Okay. Jim is going to do the reading from the scripture for us.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Keisha. Big eyes there.
Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Narayan emailed me a reading that's going to happen after, I guess, right? Or no. Oh, there's no reading. Okay, gotcha. Well, so he said to find something that moved me that went along with this reading. It talked about growth and change and evil and not going to... And so the words I was reading about, that kind of struck me. I do a bit of songwriting, and evil has a strong impact for me. It's like, whoa, it's such a powerful word, to talk about, the work that we're doing here, and even with the teachings this morning, the prayer work about what are we doing here, trying to find a path to greater happiness, and from the opposite of that, And I was expecting to come after the reading, it would have made more sense, but anyway, the idea, let's see here. The one I'm going to read is out of Whispers from Eternity. I tell you, it's become one of my favorite books. These all came out of visions from Paramhansa Yogananda as prayer demands, as ways of approaching life to be lifted, and I have it on audiobook, and I listen to it every night, some of it, and I really recommend it. let's see. The title of this one is called Make Me Remember That Virtuous Ways Are More Charming Than Vicious Ones. So even the word vicious is like, woo, that's kind of tough. I don't want to go down any vicious paths or evil paths. And virtuous too. Virtuous is a pretty lofty concept too. They seem like two wide extremes. And it's kind of like if I could just be a little less angry at people, a little bit more forgiving, all those little things, that's really the practical teachings that come for this for me. And sometimes it needs to be that, something hard, more strong. But anyway, please let me read, and thank you for letting me talk about that a little bit. Teach me, O Spirit, not to discern the laws of virtue with dread, but with love. Teach me to remember that virtue, though sometimes difficult to follow at the start, becomes easy and self-fulfilling when I obey its laws, and adorns me finally with thy laurel of happiness. Teach me to remember that evil, though it promises a little pleasure at the beginning, always brings great sorrow in the end. Teach me to love the ways of virtue, which guide me to my own highest interest and highest good. Help me to shun vicious action, which is ever injurious to my true interest. Implant in me those wholesome habits which enable me to always to perceive virtuous ways more charming than vicious ones. Help me to remember that virtue, though sometimes bittersweet at first, becomes nectar eventually, and that evil, though its taste seems sweet at the beginning, becomes poison at the end.
Kemi's going to read Praise the One Light.
To each according to his faith. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. John, chapter 3, we read, Everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. It is a common experience shared by most people that when a person errs, he experiences a desire to hide that error from his conscience, instead of holding it up for purification. Error clutches its misdeeds to itself and resists correction, though it is only in the state of purity that we can achieve perfect freedom. It requires an act of will to offer that awareness up to the light, and to hold it there until one's inner darkness is completely dissipated. For every state of consciousness has its own attractive power, and the more we allow that attraction to act upon us, the more we attract to ourselves the objective circumstances and experiences natural to it. Our faith is the attractive power of our underlying state of consciousness. Goodness attracts goodness. It takes goodness even to see goodness. Evil attracts evil, and it takes evil even to see evil, that is, to take special note of its existence. Whatever there is in you of darkness or light, offer it up to the heights. In the supreme light alone we will find salvation. Accept nothing less in yourself as your lasting reality. As the Bhagavad Gita says in the 12th chapter, Cling thou to me, clasp me with heart and mind, so shalt thou dwell surely with me on high. But if thy thought droops from such height, if thou best weak to set body and soul upon me constantly, despair not, give me lower service, seek to reach me, worshipping with steadfast will, and if thou canst not worship steadfastly, work for me, toil in works pleasing to me, for he that laboreth right for love of me shall finally attain. But if in this thy faint heart fails, bring me thy failure. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
I too want to welcome everyone this morning. It's always a joy to be with you on Sundays. I was really struck by this reading, that one particular part that Kemi just shared. I don't know if you heard it, where Swamiji says, faith is the attractive power of our underlying state of consciousness. And I think that's a very good sentence to meditate on. You know, we all have faith in something. We all have magnetism that is drawn, these great gurus into our life, this path of self-realization. There's actually a funny joke which illustrates this point of magnetism. There was a pastor and a deacon, and they were putting their sign up outside their church, and they were staking it in the ground, and it said, "The end is near. Turn around before it's too late." And this man drove by in his car and said, "You religious fanatics! I've had it with you." And he kept driving angrily down the road, and they just heard a few seconds later a big splash. And the pastor turned to the deacon and said, "Do you think our sign should have said, 'Bridge out'?" So, we draw to ourselves the kind of consciousness that we're emanating, that is from within us. And the real question for us is, what type of magnetism do we want to develop? If we want to nurture spiritual magnetism, and then it's keeping the company of those that emanate that kind of magnetism, that draw that sort of magnetism out of us. Do you know, magnetism, from a purely physical level, is an interchange. So that's why this Gita reading is so inspiring. Fix yourself on me, meditate on me, commune with me. And if you can't sit and concentrate and meditate on me, then give your works to me, serve me. And even if you fail at that, then if your faint heart fails, bring me your failure. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of things in my life which I would consider, a failure. But it's only a failure if we then keep it to ourselves, right? If we close down and hide it from God. There is, every week, a lot of you are here, and we do this purification ceremony, where you have an opportunity to write something you want to offer up for purification. And you say, "I seek purification by the grace of God." And then the minister, acting as Divine Mother, as an instrument, says, open your heart to me, and I will enter and take charge of your life. Really think about that. If we really opened our heart, if we genuinely shared with God everything, it's easy to, in a sense, to say, well, things go well, it was God, and I got myself out of the way. But when things don't go well, when we make mistakes, when we err, we, as Swamiji was saying in the reading that Kemi was sharing, we cling to them. The only way that we can be transformed is to open, to let God's light come in. There's a beautiful saint. Actually, that was the chant that Dharma Devi sang. We did right before meditation. Will that day come to me, Ma? His name was Ram Prasad. His name was in that chant. And Yogananda loved Rinpoche. He was a great lover of the Divine Mother. And there is a story of Rinpoche where he would just sing to the Divine Mother. He would just sing to her constantly. And he was on his way to do his ritual bathing, and this young, beautiful woman came and said, "Oh, won't you sing for me one of your songs to the Divine Mother?" And he paused and said, "Well, I will sing for you, but I must go and do my bathing first. This is my custom, and I must do this first." And so after his bathing, he came back, and he realized, the thought came to him that this was Divine Mother that had appeared to him, that had come to him as a vision, and had asked for him to sing to her. And in his, he was closed down at that moment. He wasn't open to Divine Mother coming to him. And so he sat to meditate. And he had this vision of the Divine Mother in his meditation. And she said, "I came all the way from Varanasi to hear your singing, but you were too busy with your bathing." And so he came out of his meditation and said, "Well, if Divine Mother came from Varanasi, this holy city," actually which Yogananda said Los Angeles was the Varanasi, or the Benares of the West, Rinpoche said, "I will go to Varanasi." And so he set off. And on his way he had another meditation and another vision, and where the Divine Mother showed her infinite form and said, "I reside everywhere." That chant, "1,000 Vedas do declare, Divine Mothers everywhere." And so then with that realization, he said, "I don't need to go to Varanasi." So instead of, for us, this is a wonderful story to remember as well. Instead of, I missed the boat, Divine Mother came to me in vision, and I'm going to kick myself for the rest of my life. His response was to chant more to Divine Mother, to continue to open ourselves. And this is that process, because there is that part of us that is, as the affirmation was talking about, that's unwilling. This is the satanic pull, right? That is, you want to go and work out? No. You want to go and we actually had this beautiful experience a couple of weeks ago. Kathy, our dear friend here, and our other friend Roberta, some of you know Roberta. Roberta's mother, Jean Murphy, was very old. I think she was almost in her 90s, late 80s. And Roberta had asked us, her health was declining, and it seemed like she might not have too much longer, so we were going to go up just to be with her, to do some chanting and some prayer, just to be with her and her mother. And then she said, "Well, now my mother's health is getting better." And so we're like, "Oh, well, okay." It was after Easter, and we had a long weekend building up for Easter. And it was then driving up to Thousand Oaks or Agora to see Roberta's mother. And I felt there was like a pull of, God, I don't want to drive. We all have the unwillingness to expand outside our zip code, right? Especially in LA. But we said, no, we're going. So we went. And I can't tell you what a divine experience this was. She had dementia, and so she wasn't, fully cognizant, although so it seemed. And we did some chanting, we did some healing prayers for her. And then you saw like her soul nature came out, and she became resplendent, and she started saying, "I hope you are happy here." And her smile was one of just radiant bliss. It was just like the final veils and koshas were just being peeled away. Steal away, Ma, steal away. And it was just like, all you saw was just Divine Mother coming through this soul. And it was deeply moving. And we told Roberta, as we were leaving, I said, "It's your mother who's blessed us today. It's not, it's not us who have blessed her, it's she who has blessed us." And then, not a week and a half later, she passed away. And when Divine Mother comes, let's be open. Let's be willing. And how do we do that? Remember, as this Swamiji is saying, with willingness, it's actually not a state of mind. Willingness is not dependent on outer circumstances. It's dependent on you saying yes to life. What did Sister Yanamata say? Say yes and make it snappy. To say yes. Just that when God comes into your life, yes. That when you feel you've got troubles and sorrows and you can't deal with it, yes. Then bring God into that. There's actually willingness and there's joy in that too. In everything. There was another story of Ram Prasad that I wanted to share as well. He was a poor man, and so he needed to provide for it. He was married and had children, and he needed to provide for his family. And so he got a job as an accountant in Calcutta. This is a true story. And, accountants are writing on their ledger, and so Ram Prasad, some of the other accountants noticed, was writing on the margins of his ledger, but he wasn't writing numbers. And they saw him just scribbling and scribing, and they couldn't figure out what he was doing. They went and looked closer, and they realized that he was writing words, and they realized they had no idea what he was doing. And so they reported him to the manager and said, this guy just doesn't seem sort of cut for accounting, you should probably give him the boot. And so his manager took his ledger and read what Ram Prasad wrote. And they were these beautiful poems to the Divine Mother, that he was in such rapture, he had such an internal, constant dialogue with the Divine Mother that it was the natural outpouring of his heart to have these poems written. And his manager read them, and he was so moved by them. And he said, you really aren't really fit to be an accountant, but these poems are so moving. I will pay your salary so that you can go back to your village and be with your family and continue to write songs to the Divine Mother. And that's part of the story of Ram Prasad. It's that love for God that purifies us. And for us, remember that God sees everything. So there's no need to hide anything anyway. He knows everything. So open to Him, willingly, joyfully. There was a direct disciple of Paramhansa Yogananda. I believe his name was Abbey George. I may have his name wrong. But when Master first met him, he had his feet up. He was sitting in a chair, and he had his feet up on his office table, and he had a cigar, and he was telling Master dirty jokes. So you would think, wow, what a way to first meet a Sadhguru. But do you know Master laughed with him, and Master was with him? Because, why? Because he saw his heart. He saw that he had a good heart. It's not what goes in a man's mouth, right, that defiles it. It's what comes out, what Christ said. And for us, this is the message that faith is the attractive power of our underlying state of consciousness. So let's develop that type of spiritual magnetism that naturally draws to itself joy, love, wisdom, the compassion of the Divine Mother. And then we too will find, as Ram Prasad said in this chant, that 1,000 Vedas do declare, Divine Mother is everywhere. God bless you.
Is she the Divine Mother, she who made the universe? Yes, is she the Divine Mother, ruler of every heart, is heart's desire. Love more ancient, bliss eternal, may our hearts soon be merged in thee. Love more ancient, bliss eternal, may our hearts soon